spoke about the mental side of training. And I honestly challenge any athlete who thinks they are disciplined in what they do to be disciplined in their flexibility training. I think it's the one Achilles heel of a lot of athletes that will believe I can get up I'm part 4:30 a.m. club, and I'll get up and I'll run the hills and I'll do that, and I'm disciplined, man. I'm disciplined. I'm like, right, well, how much time did you sit and actually stretch your body and look after it? I think there was a podcast I listened to of David Goggins, and he kind of brushed over it real quickly in this podcast, but people look at this guy and think he is just another level of insanity sometimes, what people will look at on their scale. But one thing he said that he constantly does is stretch, and he does it not only just for his body but for his mind to make sure his body can continue doing what he's doing, but also it is a skill, it is a resilience training that you're doing. And I would challenge people to say, like, is the reason you're not stretching because of your body, or is it because of your mind is stopping you early on? It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's a mind body practice, isn't it? Because your mental state will influence what you physically do, and what you physically do will influence your mental state. So it's this constant feedback process. And I typically find it's athletes in power sports or very dynamic sports which struggle with the discipline of stretching. Like you touched on it earlier, martial artists, dancers, and gymnasts are conditioned from very early on to stretch. They know it's necessary, so it's become a habit. So for athletes who have maybe expended some of their genetic inheritance to get to where they are, but now they're starting to struggle and they need to develop their flexibility, they haven't developed the habit, and they don't like developing the habit because they don't excel at something. And what I find is the more elite an athlete is, the harder they struggle with doing a new skill, because it's something they don't excel at, and they have this alpha, dominant mentality where they want to be the best. And we don't like doing things we're not good at. And that applies to athletes as well as everyday folk. Somebody who's never stretched, they do a stretch, they want to touch the palms on the floor, which takes a long time. They can't get the fingertips past the knees. Like, oh, this sucks, I'm not going to do this anymore. They go and do something else.
Yeah.
Something which doesn't, but that problem is still there.